It has been years since the West, without overturning the world economy, put into effect a new idea designed to weaken Vladimir Putin's war machine, bringing ceiling price to Russian oil. The strategy uses Western shipping, finance and insurance companies as leverage to limit the price of Russian oil transported by sea to $60 per barrel for any transaction using these Western services. The aim is to keep Russia's export volume stable while at the same time depriving Putin of oil revenue, which is critical to the war effort in Ukraine. The unorthodox approach achieved some early successes and visibly reduced incomes of Russian government in first months of 2023, but did not stop Second Winter War in Ukraine. And there is ample evidence that Putin's attempts to escape the border by developing his own shadow fleet and through a campaign of repression on independent shippers are increasingly successful. Even Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen acknowledged in September that there was some reduction in the effectiveness of the ceiling price app. His department recently announced new sanctions in October, November, and just last week, to try to regain the foundations of the ceiling, with statements from Biden officials who travel world and energy experts who closely follow issue to enact policy. Here is a closer look at how emissions upper limit emerges, debate about its effectiveness, and where it can go from there. He followed its implementation. Early 2022, a policy that takes shape amid chaos when Russia first invaded Ukraine in February 2022. The danger quickly arose. The price of crude oil rose rapidly after the conflict began, raising fears that it would be both a global recession and an almost unlimited source of funding for Putin's war. Ben Harris, former deputy undersecretariat for Treasury's economic policy, said it was an absolutely frustrating moment when we saw the price increase after the invasion. Robin Brooks, chief economist at the Institute of International Finance, said it is not right to say that the world is surprised. There was some contention about how to respond. Craig Kennedy of the Harvard Davis Center said completely blocking Russia's exports by sea would mean wiping out 6 million barrels of raw and refined products a day from the global market, which would be a huge shock. The call was open to ideas at President Biden's Treasury Department adjacent to the White House. Deputy Undersecretary of Treasury Wally Adeyemo, before occupation began, I remember being at a meeting where President had instructions to Secretary, I want you to go out and design a series of sanctions that meet two tests. First, if Russia invades, it will increase Russia's pain while taking steps to minimize the impact on our allies and partners. Deputy Undersecretary of Treasury Wally Adeyemo, at a press conference Brussels, Belgium on March 29, 2022. Ceiling price policy is still development. While early stages of war Ukraine, Harris were starting to